There we go. All right, everybody, welcome to the announcements session before our July 20 council meeting. We're going to start with two presentations. The first one by Councilmember Bradford. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Got a couple of guests that are going to be joining me at the podium. I want to present a proclamation recognizing the 2021 American Political Items Collectors National Conference, which will be here in Nashville next week. And with me are members of our local Nashville Button Collectors Group. So whereas the American Political Items Collectors, or APIC, was created when a group of 5 collectors banded together in 1945. At the time, the letterhead of the organization read, "An organization devoted to the dissemination of authoritative information helpful to collectors of political items." And whereas in 1959, the organization had grown to 75 members. However, in May 1960, the APIC decided to disband. This was short-lived as the organization was revived on July 24, 1960, when the APIC held a meeting at Williams Restaurant in Chicago. From that meeting, the APIC has developed into the active organization that it is today. And whereas many changes have occurred since those early days, including the growth of membership to over 2,000 members, this organization serves the entire field of political memorabilia collecting and many other associated fields. There are many publications, auction catalogs being produced that serve the hobby, plus reference books and internet sites dedicated to the field of political memorabilia. Whereas the APIC played a dominant role in the passage of the Hobby Protection Act of 1973 and continues to work hard with the Federal Trade Commission enforcing this law. The APIC works with presidential libraries and other institutions, researching and studying the various facets of the hobby. And whereas the APIC also sponsors a summer internship program in cooperation with the Smithsonian Institution. And whereas APIC will hold its national convention July 24th through August 1st, 2021 at the Sheraton Music City Hotel here in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, therefore, I, Russ Bradford, District 13 Council Member of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville-Davidson County, do hereby recognize and welcome the American Political Items Collectors Convention as they celebrate and gather to preserve the stories held through history, and thank APIC for allowing the city of Nashville to share in the invaluable knowledge.
Hopefully we get to hear a few words from the group after the photo op.
Well, thank you, Russ, and this is really an honor to be here before all of you. You know, what we do is so important in so many ways because political items are really symbols of our democracy and symbols of our history and our system. And so much of what we do is in preserving that history and honoring our democracy. And so, you know, to be here and to be acknowledged before the Metro Council is a real honor. And also, I'll add, the next time all of you run for re-election, please make buttons because it gives us something to collect. So please do that. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you for this honor, and yes, buttons, not stickers. Buttons are more permanent. I'd like to mention one of your former colleagues who's been very involved in this political organization. He's third-generation political button collector, Carter Todd. He could not be here tonight, but he has been very active and is one of the largest button collectors anywhere around here, and he has been planning this convention for a long time, so thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much for the honor and recognizing us tonight. I'll mention that amazingly in the Vanderbilt Law School class of 1982, there was 4 button collectors out of a class of 170. So Carter, myself, Ronnie Stein, who used to serve with this group, and the late Jordan Wright, who unfortunately passed away at an early age. Thank you.
Thanks very much, everybody. Next, we have a presentation by Councilmember Hancock. and friends.
Thank you. That's what I was about to say. Do you want this north? Do you want this north to go with you? Yes, please. Thank you. Anytime I get to stand next to Joanne is a good day. So you can see we have a really good crowd coming in to help with this resolution.
We win. Pretty close.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
you can organize that. We're honoring this evening the late husband of one of our own, Joanne North, former council lady at large, and also the first female in the state of Tennessee to be elected to a countywide position. As we all know, everyone knows Joanne, and everyone knows Steve North. Steve and Joanne were a team for many years, and to honor one is really to honor them both. Joining us to recognize this occasion is our mayor, Mayor Cooper. Unfortunately, Joanne's successor in the property assessor's office, former council lady Vivian Wilhoit, is on quarantine. One of Steve's successors in the Fifth Circuit Court and the current presiding judge of the state trial courts, Judge Joe Binkley Jr. is here today. Former council member and now state senator Brenda Gilmore. State Representative Bill Beck. Former council member and now circuit court judge Amanda McClendon. Former council member and now Register of Deeds Karen Johnson. Chancellor Pat Moskell. Chancellor Ann Martin. Judge Melissa Blackburn. Is there anyone else that I forgot to add to this list? The city of Nashville is here to support and honor the late Steve North with resolution honoring his life, Ira Stephen Steve North Sr. Whereas longtime Nashville attorney and former Davidson County Circuit Court Judge Steve North died peacefully at home in Madison, Tennessee on December 28, 2020. He was 79 years old. And
it's a crowd. Whereas Steve North served Middle Tennessee for over 50 years as a learned judge, fierce advocate, and tireless community servant. His professional life was a never-ending quest for justice with an approach that mirrored his personal dedication to fairness, goodness, grace, and mercy. And
whereas Ira Steve North was born in Abilene, Texas, to Ira and Avon North of Lawrence County, Tennessee. His father, Ira, was the longtime minister of the Madison Church of Christ. And whereas Steve North honed his quick wit and elite oratory skills throughout his childhood and early adult years, he graduated from Madison High School and David Lipscomb College before working his way through Vanderbilt School of Law as the minister of the Spring Hill Church of Christ in Maury County. And
we're up here? Okay. Whereas Steve North began his legal career at the firm of Howland Fisher and practiced there until 1974, when he was elected judge of the Fifth Circuit Court of Davidson County at the age of 32 years of age. And whereas Steve North returned to private practice in 1982 as a sole practitioner and was joined by his son, Mark North, in 1991. They moved the North law offices closer to their homes in Madison in 1996, where they practiced together for 20 more years.
And whereas Steve North served as a part-time preacher and Sunday school teacher for over 50 years at congregations across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky, and
whereas Steve North was a well-respected member of the Madison and Metro Nashville community, known for his work and contributions to nonprofit organizations and local politics, and
whereas Steve North served on the Metro Sports Authority, providing his wisdom and unique, thoughtful perspective during a time when professional sports in Nashville was growing. And
Whereas he voluntarily and regularly participated in community meetings and organizations and was kind, direct, and always helpful. And
whereas, in addition to his contributions to local politics, Steve North actively helped his wife, Joanne North, become Metro Nashville's and Tennessee's first woman elected to countywide office in 1979, when she was elected to an at-large seat on the Metro Council. She went on to serve 3 terms as at-large council member. This was an integral part of his legacy, as well as historic event for the city and the state. And whereas Steve North was a good man, his generosity, community spirit, kindness, and firm handshake will be greatly missed. And
whereas Steve North was husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, uncle, brother, advisor, and a friend. And whereas Steve North is survived by his wife of 58 years, to Joanne North, his brother Philip North, his sister Dolly North, Rennie Robert, his sons Ira, Stephen North Jr., Don Mark North, who's married to Kristen, and David Paul North, Sherry and Beth, grandchildren Anthony North and Allison, Carly North, Laura Harris and Will, Josie North, Lily North, and Myra North, and great-grandchildren Carter North, Ian North, Grace Harris, and Ashton North, and he was widely known as Pop. And
whereas Steve North was preceded in death by his parents, Ira and Avon North, and his brother, K. Timothy North, MD, and whereas it is fitting and proper that the Metropolitan Council recognize, honor, and applaud the life of Ira Steve North for his dedication in the Madison community, the city of Nashville, and the state of Tennessee.
Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County. The Metropolitan Council hereby goes on record as honoring the late Ira Steve North, Sr., for his unwavering commitment to the betterment of his community throughout his 79 years, and extend to his family our appreciation for sharing Steve and Joanne with all of us, and our heartfelt sorrow for their loss on December 28th, 2020. Yes, but let's get a picture here while she's right there.
y'all gather up. Well, you're doing good.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me.
Yes,
I'm going to take some pictures.
I would love if you'd say a few words.
Please.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, I appreciate so much you recognizing and honoring Steve's legacy of service. As you know and can see, we have a large family. They are from Tennessee, Texas, Arizona, Montana, but all of them know what's going on right here, right now in Nashville, Tennessee, and they appreciate it too. They have been part of his legacy. He was a man that loved this city, and he loved Tennessee. You know, they say once a Texan, always a Texan, but that's not true. We both were born in Texas, and we love Nashville, Tennessee. His legacy goes farther than that. It goes to humankind. He loved helping people. and he helped in so many of the charities in Nashville. He would want me to say this. This is such a Steve North thing to say. He appreciates your service. He also would recognize, and we recognize, your spouses, your significant others, and your children and your entire family, because service is a family affair. And we thank you for your service. Thank you for this honor, and God bless you.
Thank you, council member. Thank you. Thanks very much, council member, and the whole North family. Appreciate you all coming down today.
Do you guys want to do a picture with the family?
Yeah, let's get up. All right, council members, we're gonna transition to doing announcements. If you have an announcement, I guess raise your hand.
Excuse me.
Start with council member Toombs.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Thursday, July 29th at 6 p.m., there will be a Buena Vista Heights Neighborhood Community Safety Meeting at the William D. Botenheimer building. That's where the North Precinct is, in the community room.
Thanks a lot. Councilmember Bradford.
Thank you. I just have an announcement from Council Lady Porterfield, who is stuck in committee right now. She just wanted to remind her constituents that tomorrow there will be a meeting at 6 p.m. You can attend in person or via Zoom. She's requesting you please wear a mask if you attend in person. It will be at the Smith Springs Community Center, located at 2801 Smith Springs Road. And also that her virtual office hours are July 24th from 11:30 to 1 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Welsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Thursday, July 29th at 5:30, there will be a community meeting to discuss a proposed rezoning on Radnor Street. It'll be at 5:30 at the Coleman Park Community Center in the multi-purpose room. Parking might be a little bit difficult, so give yourself plenty of time to get to the meeting, and I look forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilmember O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Just wanted to remind people we're continuing to encourage folks to get vaccinated against COVID-19. This is one of those situations where protecting yourself is the best way to protect others. There are some more harmful and more contagious variants continuing to spread in the community, including in Tennessee, including here in Nashville. The Metro Public Health Department is offering a variety of ways still to get vaccinated. It is safe, easy, and free. You can learn more at covid19.nashville.gov. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Stiles.
Thank you, Pro Tem. Just wanted to announce that the District 32 monthly community meeting will be next Wednesday at 6 p.m. We are holding our first in-person meeting since coming out of COVID. Mask will be required. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there. If you want to know who is going to be on the agenda, that will be posted on my Facebook page, Councilwoman Joy Stiles for District 32. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Benedict, did you have? Councilmember Benedict.
Thank you, Pro Tem. I just wanted to give a recognition to the nonprofits throughout the city who are helping the community, and in particular, the Educators Cooperative hosted an event last Saturday, and it brought together dozens of teachers, members of the community, and school leaders to share the stories and experiences of teachers who have gone above and beyond, certainly in this trying time, to create innovative, engaging learning opportunity for tens of thousands of students over the last year. The Educators Cooperative has just done a lot of great work since they were founded a couple of years ago. Their recently released report on teacher retention is an impressive story of the kinds of professional community and development that has an impact on teachers and their students. So I would like to acknowledge, keep up the great work, EC, and I would like everybody to take a look at the good work that they do. I appreciate their efforts. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Are there more announcements? Council Member Hager, you're up next.
Thank you. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we've got the grand opening of our new fire station on Andrew Jackson Parkway. That'll be at 10 a.m. This is a state-of-the-art new fire hall that was just built about 6 months ago and opened. It'll be serving not only my district, but also Council Lady Evans' district and Kevin Roten's district as well. So we invite you all to come out for that grand opening. Also at 12 o'clock, State Representative Darren Jernigan will have a dedication to Phyllis Williams at 12 noon at Andrew Jackson Elementary School, where we're naming part of the Olga Boulevard Shoot Lane intersection for Phyllis Williams, and that'll be at 12 noon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Hauser.
Yes, I wanted to make sure everyone knew that Thursday, July 29, there will be a community meeting at the Bellevue Community Center starting at 5:15, and this actually will involve folks beyond just my district. It's going to be a presentation regarding our homeless encampments. Folks from various metro departments will be there, as well as all the nonprofits that serve our homeless camps. The purpose of the meeting will be to inform, tell you what's happening, what the plans are, and how we can be involved. So I encourage folks that have an interest to show up on July 29, 5:15 at the Bellevue Community Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Anybody else with announcements? Councilmember Gamble.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. I would like to announce that there will be a District 3 meeting on July 27th at 6 p.m. at the Parkwood Community Center. This is our regular quarterly district-wide meeting, and we'll have representatives there from the Madison Precinct, the North Precinct, and also MTA We Go. So I encourage residents in District 3 to attend the meeting on July 27th, 6 p.m. at the Parkwood Community Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hurt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to stand and announce the 21st Annual Jefferson Street Jazz and Blues Festival that will be held on this Saturday, July 24th at Fisk University, who's celebrating 155 years, as well as us celebrating the Grammy Award-winning Jubilee Singers, who's also celebrating 150 years. The headliner for the event is after 7. The concert begins at 5. There will be a kids pavilion from 12 until 3 that gives a tribute to Jamela Marlowe, who was the 3-year-old shot and killed at Cumberland View. This is a celebration for all and would hope that you all will come out and support so the proceeds can be given to the Jubilee Singers. Again, it's at Fisk University at the track field, and look for good people like you to come and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody, any other announcements?
Oh, one other thing. If you come in, if you get vaccinated, you can get in free, and there will be vaccination site on site in order for people to get vaccinated.
That's
so,
a good detail.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Parker.
Thank you, Pro Tem. I just wanted to make an announcement about a meeting regarding the River Chase Apartments in District 5. The property is, there's a group from Austin that's looking to purchase it, and they've got a redevelopment proposal. We'll be having a meeting next Tuesday, July 27th at the McFerrin Park Community Center. That's going to be at 6:15. I know we usually do things at 6 or 6:30. This one starts at 6:15. That's July 27th at the McFerrin Park Community Center. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And back to Councilmember Gamble.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I forgot one thing. There's also an event at the Bass Street Missionary Baptist Church on Brick Church Pike. That's 3447 Brick Church Pike. It's a Hands of Hope backpack giveaway and more. There will also be COVID-19 vaccinations and door prizes at this event on July 24th, this Saturday from 10 to 2 p.m. at Bass Street Missionary Baptist Church. Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none, we're gonna, that'll be the end of the announcements, and we'll kick it over to Mr. Pat Nolan.
So this is coming to you live from the council chambers at the historic Metro Courthouse. It's a public affairs presentation of the Metro Nashville Network. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pat Nolan, your announcer for this program. Tonight, the 15th Metropolitan Council holds its 44th business meeting of a 4-year term. This is the 14th council meeting of 2021. Tonight's council agenda is 30 pages long, involving a total of 77 pieces of legislation. That includes 2 resolutions on public hearing, along with 23 other resolutions, 11 first reading bills, 17 second reading measures, and 24 third and final reading ordinances. There are 2 appointments or reappointments on city boards and commissions tonight before the council. One concerns the city's Human Relations Commission. We understand there may be some late-breaking controversy about that. The other appointment is for a month-long vacant seat on the Metro Fair Board. The appointment has been controversial as the council wants more diversity there. In particular, a Hispanic member added. Latest nominee is from Vice Mayor Jim Shulman. She is Ms. Tracy Harden. Ms. Harden is a successful African-American businesswoman who the Vice Mayor believes is well qualified and will bring diversity to an otherwise all-male white board. But council members, some are part of the city's minority caucus, disagree. They're opposed to perhaps oppose and stop the Harden nomination, much as the council did to an earlier nomination from an African-American submitted by the Vice Mayor a couple of months back. This nomination was deferred 2 weeks ago at the last council meeting. The question is, has an agreement been reached, or are we headed for another lengthy and perhaps heated debate on this board seat again? By the way, board appointments are usually the domain of the mayor. However, Mayor Cooper had similar issues filling this particular Fair Board seat. The time for the mayor to appoint a member to the seat has expired, leaving the matter again up to Vice Mayor Jim Shulman. Among resolutions that the council will consider tonight is RS 2021-1045. The bill accepts a $4.9 million grant from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to be given to the Metro Board of Health. No local cash match is involved. This COVID-19 health disparities among populations grant will be used to address COVID-19 related health disparities and expand capacities and service to prevent, control, and infection or transmission among underserved populations. This includes an implementation of a collaborative, multi-level, culturally informed approach to expand access to COVID-19 testing and vaccine administration, and to reduce disparities among Nashville's underserved African-American, Hispanic, immigrant, and refugee communities. The council is also expected to approve resolutions increasing grants from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metro Social Services Commission. One resolution, RS 2021-1047, totaling about $240,000, is to provide nutritional home and community-based services to eligible seniors throughout Davidson County. Another resolution increases the grant amount to $4 million to provide meals that meet nutritional guidelines and transportation services to eligible seniors and handicapped residents. Similar grant resolutions tonight before the council would accept grants from the State Library and Archives to the Nashville Public Library. One of those resolutions, RS 2020-1049, would provide $1,650 in funds to hire computer instructors to provide free technology training to the general public. Second resolution, RS 2021-1050, would provide $1 million to target library appeals to people who have difficulties using a library and to provide social services to children and the underserved. Among memorializing resolutions tonight, the council will honor the life of the late Dr. Frederick Humphreys, former president of Tennessee State University, as well as marking the 100th anniversary of St. Anne's Catholic Church and School in West Nashville and the 50th anniversary of the federal Title IX program. The council will also note the retirement of Lindell Edmondson after 44 years of dedicated service to Metro Public Schools and its students. On second reading bills, BL 2021-795 would prohibit the storage of intermodal containers on property zoned residential or residential single family for longer than 90 days. Intermodal containers include general purpose shipping containers, garment containers, also hard or soft top bulk containers. A couple of third reading bills tonight. Ordinances would establish, first, RS 2019-3 would establish under state law a historic property review board in Metro empowered to abate property taxes related to certain improvements or restorations made to historic properties. BL 2019-49 would authorize a property tax exemption for historic properties owned by charitable institutions in accordance with the Tennessee law. Both these bills have been deferred indefinitely and may be deferred again tonight under the rules. The council is seeking more information from city departments tonight on third reading bill BL 2021-783 would require a report from the Metro Historical Commission when a public building named after after a person is renamed, demolished, or sold. On second reading tonight, BL 2021-792 would require the Planning Commission to provide periodic reports regarding the Metro government's efforts to address the issue of affordable housing in Nashville and Davidson County. Finally, a bill being introduced on first reading tonight, BL 2021-835, would require Metro Water Services to study sewer infrastructure in Davidson County and Nashville to provide a report to the Metro Council by July 1st, 2023. By the way, that is towards the very end of this council term. All first reading bills are expected to be approved on a single vote tonight. One ordinance of note for the next time we meet in 2 weeks is RS 2021-831. It would apply the parking requirements of hotels to non-owner occupied short-term rentals. Regulating the short-term rental industry has been a constant agenda item for the council, and that is continuing as short-term rentals are again growing in popularity as the pandemic has been easing. If you want to follow tonight's council meeting as it progresses, you can find the agenda online. Just go to the Metro Council motion on the Nashville.gov website and then go to the Legislative Information Center. We'll also be placing the bill numbers on the screen as we come up for consideration tonight so you can follow along and keep up with where we are on the meeting agenda. Let's go now to Vice Mayor Jim Shulman. He'll be gaveling tonight's meeting to order shortly.
Will the meeting please come to order? We welcome you to the Metro Council. Today is Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. All members of the council, as well as the public, please rise for the invocation. Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Invocation this evening will be offered by Reverend Stacy Rector, the guest of Councilmember Berkeley Allen.
Let us pray. Living and loving God, the breath of your Spirit sustains us and enlivens us and inspires us. And we come to you this evening with gratitude for the opportunity to breathe a bit more freely together after time of separation and isolation. We give you thanks especially for the medical community, those who tend to the sick and the dying, whose tireless efforts have created the vaccine that allows us to gather, and for these dedicated servants who continue even in a challenging time of disinformation and resistance, do the critical work to protect public health. We humbly ask for your Spirit this evening to breathe upon this body, our city's council, as they make decisions on behalf of the citizens of Nashville. We pray for our mayor, our vice mayor, all those in leadership. Grant them wisdom, discernment, and vision in their deliberations this evening as they serve this city tonight and every day. Lead them and all of us as you continue to call us to create a more beloved community together, so that as we move forward as a city, there is no one left behind. So the loudest or most privileged voices don't drown out the voices too often ignored or silenced. Help us not to focus so much on prosperity and bottom lines that we forget sisters and brothers who have not shared in that prosperity and who have been in line at the bottom for too long, whose need for housing and education and health care, safety and opportunity must be a priority if we are to truly be the city that we hope to be. May we listen with new ears, may we see with new eyes, may we feel with new hearts, and with your guidance find the will to create and recreate a more just, equitable, and peaceful Nashville, where all are welcomed, all are valued, all are celebrated. Hear our prayers this evening and make your presence known among us. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Without objection, we will suspend the calling the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of those members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for adoption of the minutes? I hear a motion for the minutes from July 6, 2021, properly seconded. Without objection, the minutes of the meeting will stand approved as written. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
Yes, Vice Mayor. Dear Vice Mayor Schulman and members of council, pursuant to regulations of the Tennessee Comptroller's Office, reports on debt obligation must be submitted to the Metropolitan Council and presented at a meeting of that body before being filed with the Comptroller. Please see the State of Tennessee reporting forms, which include tax anticipation notes for a combined $328,000 authorized by the Metropolitan Council through Resolution RS 2020-315 as approved on May 20th, 2020. The loans were subsequently approved by the Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury and were paid off earlier this year. Reports for tax anticipation notes reflected a combined $304,000 authorized by the Metropolitan Council through Resolution RS 2021-933 as approved on May 19, 2021. The loans were approved by the Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury on June 15, 2021. The reports for bond anticipation notes reflected a combined $375,000 authorized by the Metropolitan Council through Resolution RS 2021-963 adopted on June 1, 2021. The notes were approved by the Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury and will support the General Obligation Traditional Commercial Paper Program. As always, we appreciate the Metropolitan Council's support on these important financing initiatives. Sincerely, John Cooper, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, a couple of items before we get into the regular calendar. First of all, if you'll look back to that wall to my right and to your left, please welcome back our Chief of Staff, Rosie Hayes. And please do not make Rosie do anything strenuous during the meeting. We told her not to be here, but she came anyway. Also, I didn't recognize him at first, but please welcome back Councilmember Steve Glover, sitting in the front row. Mr. Glover has been recovering. He looks like a new man, sort of. All right. We also have a Community Oversight Board opening. We seem to have those every meeting. This is to fill the unexpired term of Dr. Stephanie Kang. The term expires January 31st, 2024. So I don't have all the information in front of me. I believe that a memo has gone out to all the members. Hold on. There you go.
Yes, you should have a letter noticing the vacancy in your emails right now.
All right. So the nominations should be taken, will be taken at the August 17th meeting. Okay, please mark that down, August 17th. And the election will be held at the September 7th council meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, sorry, it's, sorry, and I wrote it down wrong, but the nominations are from a community organization or private petition. Those are due by 4 p.m. on August 17th.
Okay. So please make sure you read the memo that you should have gotten. Okay, this is important. Make sure we get nominations in on time in the appropriate place. Again, nominations must be in by August 17th, correct?
Yes.
By 4 p.m., is that correct? Okay, and then the election is going to be held on September 7th. What goes with these are all the basic stuff about you have to fill out the questionnaires and show up at the Rules Committee meetings, things like that. Okay? So that's coming up. At this point, I want to recognize Councilmember John Rutherford. Councilmember Rutherford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of council, this past week, a horrible tragedy occurred in southeast Nashville, more specifically the Cane Ridge community. You likely saw on the news and on social media that community leader Tawana Chick was shot several times by her brother and then turned the gun on himself, committing suicide. This horrific event took place in the presence of their parents, who are elderly. Amazingly, Tawana is doing well and is in good spirits, though she'll have a long road to recovery as she'll need physical therapy, a few surgeries along the way. I spent a few hours with Tawana on Saturday at Vanderbilt. I asked her specifically what she would like people to know. And she told me point blank, she says, tell them everything. She says, I want them to know everything. Don't leave anything out. And that's representative of really who she is, because she wanted to know that her story could potentially help other people, that her story could potentially help others that are dealing with domestic violence. Her story could potentially help others who are dealing with a loved one with mental illness. And she wanted to be able to use her story to help others. And so I ask that you pray for Tawana and her family. The community has really done amazing things in terms of turning out for her in support of her family, organizing food deliveries to her parents, organizing rides for appointments for her parents and to take them to the hospital to see her. Also organizing people to sit with her mother who suffers from dementia. It's just amazing what the community has done. She has supported the community so much over time, and now the community is supporting her. There's a GoFundMe page as well. I encourage you to go to the Cane Ridge Community Club Facebook page or to my social media as well. The GoFundMe is at both locations. Well wishes can be left for her at the Cane Ridge Community Club page if you haven't been there already. And lastly, I just ask for your thoughts and prayers for Tawana and her family. One thing is for sure, we don't ever know what another person or another family may be dealing with, what battles they may be. So keep that in mind and pray for Tawana and her family. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Rutherford. And I would also say, I talked to Tawana. She sounds very strong. She's going to get through this. I want to thank also Councilmember Lee and Councilmember Stiles for being so responsive. She's like a member of our family, and we wish her a very speedy recovery. There were two very, very amazing things that have happened over the actually over the last 4 or 5 days, things that are, I think, so important that they need to be recognized. Councilmember Hurt, I'm going to come to you for just a minute because Councilmember Saguaro is not here about the events over the weekend with the John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis event. But first, I'm going to go to Councilmember Welsh for something that I think was totally amazing that happened in her district yesterday. Councilmember Welsh, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Yesterday, the Vice Mayor, Councilmember Allen, and I were honored to be at the ribbon cutting on the village of Glencliff, which is a respite village of tiny homes for the unhoused where they can get support and care while they are healing from injury and illness, and while permanent housing is found for them, is secured for them. I'm very, very proud of the Reverend Ingrid McIntyre and the Glencliff United Methodist Church, who saw the need, who had the vision, and who had the will to do this. They brought this beautiful place to life, and this will have an impact that is profound and long-lasting on the lives of all of these people. We as a body are in a very unique position in terms of what we can do to further this vision. We can make our city so much more inclusive and equitable if we begin to live and fund our values and prioritize those values in every decision that we make, because we can do this. We can make our own village to house people who need to be housed. When we decide that everyone deserves a house, we will make this happen, so let's make it happen. We've seen the need, we've seen this vision, now let's find the will, and going forward, let's live out these values and believe that everyone deserves a house, and make sure that we as a council do everything we can to make sure that everyone who needs a house can have a house so they can build the life that they need. I encourage you all to go by and visit the village on East Thompson Lane. It is a truly beautiful and remarkable thing, and it will change your life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember. Very well said. Councilmember Hurt, there was an amazing event that happened on Saturday and Friday night. You are recognized to let everybody know what happened. Councilmember Hurt.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yes, there was a celebration of the life of the Representative John R. Lewis. It culminated with an event at the First Baptist Church, Capitol Hill, with a number of celebrated guests, including the Reverend Michael Eric Dyson, Reverend Kelly Miller Smith Jr., President Forrest Harris of American Baptist College. It was just a great conversation and discussion. His Representative Lewis's family was in attendance. His brothers, sister-in-laws, sisters, nephews, just a great representation from their family on Saturday. And all of this, of course, was in celebration of the renaming of Fifth Avenue to John Lewis Way. And they had a march. First, there was a program at 5th and Jefferson where the street begins in his name. And we had a nice program there, wonderful singing and celebration and remarks. From there, there was a march to the Ryman Auditorium, which another program was held, which was absolutely wonderful, and it was highlighted with comments and a small speech given by Reverend Dr. James Lawson, who we all know was the nonviolence leader during the Civil Rights Movement. But also Catherine Brooks, who was one of the Freedom Riders, was there, and she was absolutely adorable. They celebrated the Freedom Riders during this time, and it was just an amazing and remarkable weekend. I thought that it was befitting because what we saw on Saturday and this entire weekend was a catalyst from the past to our future, not only where we are today, but where we will be as we continue to grow. And I was so proud that Nashville embraced such a wonderful celebration, and I want to thank you all. I know Zolfat was amazing. in all that she did in coordinating the committee. She had a star-studded committee working with her, and they did not let us down. They did an amazing job. And we want to thank all of you who attended, because I saw many of you there, and we really appreciated us showing up for this celebrated historic moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we give Councilmember Zulfat Swara a hand?
And one other person that should be recognized for that event is sitting back in the back in red. Do you want to introduce her, Councilmember Hurt?
Oh, absolutely. Our Senator, former council member, Queen Mother, Brenda Gilmore. She was a member of that committee and made sure a lot of it did take place. She moved back. She moved back. I didn't see you. I didn't see you. I knew you were sitting up front, and I didn't see you. So I thought you might have left after the presentation for Steve North. So pardon me, please.
Thank you, Councilmember Hurt. Thank you, Senator Gilmore, for being here. All right. I believe that takes care of all the matters that we had. We are now ready to proceed to elections and confirmations. Councilmember Johnston, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We considered 2 nominees. The first one was for Fair Commissioners Board, the appointment of Ms. Tracy Harden for a term expiring April 6th, 2025. We voted 5 in favor, 4 against, and 1 not voting. I'd move her approval.
Okay, so I've got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Discussion on the appointment of Ms. Tracy Harden to the Fair Board. Councilmember Sepulveda, as soon as I can hit your button, hold on. Councilmember Sepulveda, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I want to start off by inviting my fellow Minority Caucus members to come and stand by me. If y'all would please. I know that there are several that are missing and some that are on their way. But I think I have just a little under 3 minutes. So if you could rush it, that'd be great. Thank you. A few months ago, we had a long discussion about the need for equity and diversity on our boards and commissions. Tonight, we will be continuing the conversation. While at times we may be on opposite sides of issues and votes, it is important that our colleagues, council leadership, and administration know that we will not be divided. Throughout history, people and systems of power have pitted minority against one another to distract us from the real issue, to water down our vote and make us forget that we are better and stronger together. We have been put in a situation that we never should have been. This will be a long and hard discussion, but it is a necessary one. Regardless of the outcome and how individual members vote, the Minority Caucus is strong, unified, and we will not be divided nor broken. Thank you for standing with me. First, I want to thank Ms. Harding for being willing to serve on the Fair Board. My remarks tonight will not be an attack on her character. The situation is bigger than both of us here tonight. Colleagues, there has been a lot of misinformation regarding this Fair Board appointment, and I want to paint a picture for you. On March 2nd, 2020, I sent Laura Womack at the fairgrounds an email with Leon Barrios' resume sharing that, and I quote, "He would be a great addition to the Fair Board," after having recently sat down with her to talk about having Hispanic representation at the Fair Board. On June 5th, 2020, I sent Leon's resume to Ashley Warrington, who was at that point with the mayor's office, as it is customary for council members to make board suggestions. I was led to believe that this was going to move forward. On December 16, 2020, I sent an email to Mike Jamison with Leon's resume. It's important to point out that when Ashley left office, I was told that Mary Falls did not receive the memo through the transition process, and she was going to nominate Q, an African-American male. We tried to reach a compromise where both Leon and Q would be put up for the open seat, but she said no. In fact, she called Leon trying to convince him to agree to be on the Arts Commission instead. After advocating for Hispanic representation on the Fair Board for 11 months, on February 2nd, 2021, former council member Sherry Weiner was appointed.
Council member,
I could put myself back in and finish my
that's
remarks.
okay. No, I was going to say, I understand the importance of the discussion, so I'm going to let you continue on, but be aware there are other people in the queue.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Vice Mayor. On February 11, 2021, the Minority Caucus sent a letter to the Vice Mayor asking him to appoint Leon Barrios to the Fair Board. Instead of honoring the request of the caucus on March 16, 2021, the Vice Mayor chose to put forth Councilmember Sandra Moore, and she was ultimately voted down. Now giving another opportunity, sorry, I missed one. She said, if you recall, I pushed for a one-meeting deferral to make sure that Sherry Weiner and this open seat would track with each other, and that was ultimately voted down. On February 11, 2021, the Minority Caucus sent a letter to the Vice Mayor asking him to appoint Leon Barrios on the Fair Board. Instead, Sandra Moore was ultimately put up and voted down. Now given another opportunity to honor the request of the council, the Vice Mayor put up Ms. Harding. This fight has never been against former Councilmember Weiner, former Councilmember Moore, and now Ms. Harding, all qualified women who were thrown in the midst of chaos for the crime of wanting to serve their community. This fight has always been against playing politics for a seat at the table and for the most marginalized communities to have a voice. While the Minority Caucus has pushed for more diversity within our boards and commissions in general, I have specifically pushed for Hispanic representation on the Fair Board. For the first time in our fairgrounds history, the Hispanic community will be participating in numbers we have never seen before. Neighbors in and around the fairgrounds are a large, growing number of Hispanic and immigrant residents. For the fairgrounds is located off of Nolensville Pike, a mecca for immigrants. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the many Hispanic laborers that build our city. I truly want to build a Nashville for everyone, and we have to move past checking a box to show inclusivity, and we must make sure that the most impacted voices are being included. When it was made abundantly clear that Leon would not be nominated, the message was clear: pick another qualified Hispanic person. When I said I wanted equity on all boards and commissions, I meant that. Colleagues, look around this room. There is more than one person that looks like you. In this room, it's just me. Just me. And my fight has to be big enough to carry a community. I don't get a day off. I don't get to quit. Every fight matters. I can't afford to be in every meeting. I can't be on every board. I can't be on every call. I have tried, but I am only one person. So I push for more representation because one person is not enough. For the press watching, I implore you to clarify for the viewing audience that just because I am fighting for the Hispanic community today does not mean I do not fight just as passionately for all communities. I think my record shows that. The fairgrounds, as it stands, is currently all white. We should not have to pick between a member of the Black community and the Hispanic community to fill a vacancy, but systems of power know all too well when you only give scraps to minority, they undoubtedly will fight over them. My colleagues on the Minority Caucus and I have been put in a very unfair and impossible situation, and we never should have been. I understand what this vote means. Some of you might not be aware that there is history of tension between the Black and brown community because, as stated, oppressed people that have been pitted against each other it's done to distract us from the real issue. I do not consider myself an unreasonable person. Our system is broken. I have tried working within the system for over a year. I am a methodical person. I do not do things on a whim. This last legislation I introduced was worked on for over a year. This push did not happen overnight. Our system is broken. The long-term plan is a charter amendment that is already being drafted, but this nomination today is our immediate pressing matter. I have been asked why I can't wait for the next open seat. 3 opportunities have come and gone, and next time never came. I have been asked if this is the hill I want to die on. Well, I don't plan on dying. Colleagues, it does not escape me that this past weekend we celebrated Representative John Lewis, and he once said, "A democracy cannot thrive where power remains unchecked and justice is reserved for a select few." Ignoring these cries, failing to respond to this movement is simply not an option, for peace cannot exist where justice is not served. I do not have time for respectability politics, and I am tired of hearing this is the way things were done. There is a process. Did you talk to this person first? How many times are we going to compare council members to the past? Those days are gone. Look around you. We don't look or sound like them, and Davidson County has changed. I am all for studying and learning from the past, but I will not live in it, because the past is used as an obstacle for far too many times. For Leon, it was, did you talk to his council member? You are supposed to talk to them before nominating someone. Yet other constituents of ours are put up all the time, and we aren't always informed. Other Hispanic people that were suggested, it was, they don't live in the district. Yet people who are being put up don't live in that district. Colleagues, I have tried for over a year. Now, to have a Hispanic person appointed to the board. So here I am, asking for your support. Because if we don't stand for something, we will fall for anything. I ask you to vote no.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Gamble, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and thank you, Councilmember Sepulveda, for your comments today. I appreciate and applaud your commitment to having a Hispanic on the Fair Board and more diversity on all of our boards, which is something that we need to do, and I stand with you in that fight moving forward. However, today, I'm speaking in support of Tracy Harden being appointed to the Fair Board. I've known Tracy and her husband, Don Harden, for a few years. They live in District 3, my district. Tracy has been actively involved in the community. She has been engaged on issues particularly related to development and business, having been a partner in a business of her own with her husband, is very knowledgeable about those matters. She is well respected in the community and has demonstrated her dedication and integrity, having served on several nonprofit boards, and she is exceptionally qualified for the Fair Board appointment. Also, as an African-American woman, she will begin the steps that we need to take towards diversifying the Fair Board, being that there are no minorities on the board. This is a first step towards moving to get more diversity on that board. And while I support also having Hispanic members appointed to our boards, I definitely support the nomination of Tracy Harden to the Fair Board at this time today with this appointment. And I look forward to continuing to work with the Minority Caucus, Councilmember Sepulveda, and others in reaching more diversity on all of our boards so that they reflect the citizens and the dedication and commitment that we all have to this city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Stiles.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to say that I am gobsmacked by having to stand here yet again and have a conversation about having a Hispanic member appointed to this Fair Board after all this time of fighting. But I can't be, because what I've listened to and what I've watched have been petty politics, threatening people and what they want to get this appointment. And to Sandra's point, Councilmember Sepulveda, she's standing here as the lone representative. If we go forward with this vote, we are saying that her voice does not matter, that we do not care. And to one of her other points, pitting Black and brown communities against one another. And it's already starting. Oh, we asked for a Hispanic, but we're gonna offer you a Black representative. Which one do you want? That's not fair. And it should stop tonight. I think it is unfortunate that Ms. Hardin is here and having to walk into this maelstrom. I certainly hope, colleagues, having listened to the impassioned speech of your colleague asking for your help, you will hear her and you will vote appropriately and vote no. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Hart.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I stand in support of Tracy Harding. Colleagues, we need to get back to the business of serving the people and keeping our personal and political agendas out of this. Like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, I refuse to accept the idea that the isness of man's present nature makes him or her morally incapable of reaching up for the eternal outness that forever confronts them. We must influence the unfolding events which surround us and focus on things that bring us together, not tear us apart. This Fair Board seat that has become contentious doesn't have to be. Political polarization has been created around this. Since there were different names selected and brought up by 3 different entities, the next step is to support who is currently presented so we can move on to other areas of importance. On this issue, as a group, the Minority Caucus may stand on different sides, but we stand in solidarity with our mission to support diverse community members serving on city boards and commissions. Let's not remove the compassion from this process for ourselves so that we can exhibit intellectual humility to achieve the outness. We have to make business decisions, but we must always show compassion in all that we do. Please do what's right. Vote in favor of this candidate that is up before us tonight, and vote yes for the well-qualified Tracy Harding. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Sledge. Hold on. Got it.
I think you got me. Thank you, Vice Mayor. For colleagues, I want to be able to, I know Councilmember Sepulveda provided a timeline, and I want to give you what I hope is the prequel to that timeline. When our term started a couple years ago, the Executive Director of the Fairgrounds, Ms. Womack, in one of many conversations we had, because we work closely together, mentioned that she thought that it would be a good idea that if we pursued a Latinx member of the Nolensville Pike area as a potential Fair Board member. There were vacancies coming up. I happened to be an idea that I agreed with and thought, yeah, I think that's something that we could try to accomplish. And then as we started having conversations in Rules Committee, Councilmember Sepulveda was very consistent in asking folks who would come before us for different appointments about the importance of diversity on boards, about the importance of representation. So after one of those meetings, I mentioned to Councilmember Sepulveda the conversation we'd had about the Fair Board appointment and asked if there was somebody she thought would fit that description. And that point is when she brought forth Mr. Barrios' name. I knew Mr. Barrios from his band and have not talked to him probably in 2.5 years at this point. The narrative from that point has spun quickly out of control. I have been accused of many a thing about motivations behind this. I want to tell you, this is my sole motivation. I've told several members of this body and people sitting in this room, and I'll say it for the record, if a Latinx member of our community had pulled up in a race car in full driver gear for the Fair Board appointment, I would have voted for that person. Because the important thing to me was presenting the opportunity to work together in our city as colleagues to increase representation on a board that I felt very much needed. And colleagues, I'll give you an example. During the height of the pandemic, an event was held at the fairgrounds that is marketed as a Hispanic rodeo, essentially. It's been held several times before. That event was one of our, by numbers, worst unmasked events as far as compliance with our mask code at the time. I feel that if we had had the potential of having a representative who could have helped in that instance, we could have potentially had better representation regarding that event and maybe avoided what was clearly a heavy impact in our Latino communities over the pandemic. One final thing I want to say in support of my colleague, Councilmember Sepulveda has stood up on national media, worked to literally save lives over the last couple of years in the Latino community and advocating for vaccination and mask wearing in COVID. It is not fair that she is the only one who has had to do this, but she has done it. I ask that you stand with her tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Sledge. Councilmember Young.
Previous question.
Previous question has been called. So how many members, Madam Clerk, how many members do we have? Hold on. So it's 2/3.
So the total vote cast.
Okay, we're just checking because we're missing some members. So the previous question, it's 2/3 of the votes cast. Is that correct? Okay.
2/3 of the total votes cast.
Okay. So we'll try by voice vote. All those in favor of the previous question say aye. Aye. Opposed, no? No. All right, well, I can't really tell. So we'll go on the board just to be on the safe side. Okay, so if you want to cease debate and vote, then you'll vote yes when the board opens. If you're ready to cut off discussion, then you would vote no. Madam Clerk, you ready?
Yes,
if you're ready to cut off. Yes, if you're ready to vote. No, if you want to keep discussion. I say it backwards. I'm sorry. All right, again, this is a vote on the previous question. If you're ready to vote, you would vote yes. If you're not ready to vote, you would vote no. Okay, Madam Clerk, open up the machines. So it's 2/3, whatever, okay. All right, Madam Clerk, close the machines, take the votes. Okay, so it's 17 noes, 15 yeses, 2 abstentions. So we'll keep talking, okay? All right, Councilmember Mendes, you're recognized.
Thanks, Mr. Vice Mayor. It's disappointing that we're here. It looks like whatever happens, it's going to be a close vote. As others have mentioned, it's a shame that the nominee, who's well qualified, has been put in this position. We were here in March, similar vote, similar circumstances, and the vote failed, and everybody knew what that meant. It meant that there were a block of council members that wanted to see Latino, Hispanic appointment here. Tennesseans reported that multiple times since then. And rather than going that direction, there's been the decision for reasons that I guess we're not entitled to know. But we don't know the reasons why. We just got a do-over rather than a different appointment that reflected where the body was last time. And that's disappointing. It is, I don't like people being pitted against one another, and I'm going to be in the same place I was back in March, honoring the commitment I made to push for this to be a Latino appointment and not be able to support your appointment, Mr. Vice Mayor. Enough people have said it, but it bears repeating. This is not a reflection on the candidate who's been cast in the middle here. There are things going on that are not entirely clear to the public, not entirely clear to me about why we need to keep having this. There's some 75,000, 100,000 Hispanic people in this city. Surely there's one that would have been appropriate. And after the vote we had in March, it seemed clear that that's where this would be if we did this again. So I'm going to support Councilmember Sepulveda's position, my commitment, and not vote in favor of the candidate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Mendez. Councilmember Rosenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yield to Councilmember Sepulveda.
All right, Councilmember Sepulveda. Hold on.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you, Councilmember Rosenberg. I think it's important to state that there is a lived experience perspective that we have to consider. We are all for diversity and having people of all backgrounds be on board and commissions, but it's more than, as I stated, it's more than just checking a box. We have to consider that there is just some things that allies aren't going to be able to help entirely on, and we need someone with a lived experience that is going to give a specific perspective. I think about me being on council and pushing in the CARES committee to make sure that we are not asking for legal status from people who are applying to receive financial support, because that is important. And I just think I would have hoped that if there was someone else with that lived perspective on the committee, they would have spoken out on it. And I am fortunate enough that I was on that committee, and there are several cases that come forth like that, where only someone with lived experience could be as helpful. So I want a Hispanic person on the board. I want an African American person on the board. Let's build on this discussion and make sure that we looked at all our boards and commissions, because I think it is important that some of these picks come from the council body, because we are a representative of what Davidson County is. And so beyond this conversation, I want to put that on your radar, that we not only need to do this for the fairgrounds, but we need to look at all our boards and commissions and take a hard look and decide what we are going to do as a body to better represent our county.
Okay, Councilman O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple things to say here. After I've been listening, I often make decisions on the floor as I've heard people speak. And as I've heard Councilmember Sepulveda speak, as I've thought about the unity demonstrated by the Minority Caucus tonight, it's hard not to think about this scenario. And I think all of us in here tonight know that Ms. Harden is a qualified nominee, and that this conversation isn't fundamentally about her qualification for this board or, frankly, any board or commission. We know she is eminently qualified to offer her public service to Metro. I think ultimately what I'm thinking of is the scenario in the context of where the Minority Caucus was. If Councilmember Taylor came to the administration, came to the council office and said, we are desperate to get some representation for Nashville's public hospital, which is located on a corridor that is principally African American, and we repeatedly offered up Latino candidates, it would seem a little odd. And I feel like that is the scenario we are confronting right now. I will also say that our colleague who started this process tonight and showed that sign of unity is one of the youngest members of the body. She is a woman of color, and she has, frankly, endured what amounts to intimidation and possibly bullying. And I have to stand against those techniques of debate and persuasion, which I know multiple members of this body have experienced in light of this bizarre situation, and I'm going to support her tonight. Thank you.
Councilmember Porterfield, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I've been debating for a while if I wanted to speak on this issue. This is an extremely difficult vote and a very difficult situation to be put in. But I really want to start by saying and mirroring what Councilwoman Hurt has said and what Councilwoman Sepulveda has said. The minority caucus is strong and we are not divided. And while we may be on different sides of the vote, we are not divided. We will not be divided. Every entity in our caucus is doing what they believe is in the best interest of the communities that they represent and our communities as a whole. And it's a very unfortunate situation to be in when it feels as though, even though that may not be the intention, it feels as though minority communities are being pitted against each other. And when you have two people that are hungry and you have one sandwich, people are gonna fight. And that's an unfair situation to be put in. There have been multiple opportunities for Hispanic representation, and it has not happened yet. There is another Fair Board appointment that is coming forward in April, and there have been suggestions of if we vote for Mrs. Hardin, who I believe is highly qualified, and I am very thankful that she is desiring to serve our city. I've heard amazing things about her, and I'm thankful that she wants to serve this city. So there's been conversation about, well, if we vote Tracy today, could we not put forth Hispanic representation in April? And I ask you, if you were told time and time again to wait and wait and wait, how long will you wait? And what guarantee do you have that that commitment will be honored? So I share with you what I shared with Mrs. Hardin, who again, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Hardin. It is very unfair that you're being put in this situation. What I shared with her was if we get Hispanic representation for this open seat, I will gladly go to bat and advocate for her to get that seat in April. And I think as a body, we have had a strong showing. There have been so many of us here that have said that we want diverse representation. We want minority representation. Let's work together. Let's not work against each other. Let's stand with our colleague and help support to get Hispanic representation today. And let's fight like heck to get Mrs. Hardin on the board in April. It does not have to be an either or. And anyone that presents this as an either or, that's not the way that this has to go. We know the way that things have gone up to this point, and we know that this is a different body. And this is a body that works and fights for and advocates for equity in all issues. The last thing that I want to say, earlier this year, the Minority Caucus started having conversations about diversity on our boards. When I started reaching out to some previous caucus members, what I found out is that this was a conversation that was being had previously with the caucus. So this is a conversation when Councilmember Jerry Maynard was serving, when Councilmember Lonnell Matthews Jr. was serving. They worked to get diversity on boards and commissions. So why is it in 2021 we're still fighting for that same diversity? We shouldn't have to keep having this fight. We are underrepresented. The African American community and the Hispanic community are underrepresented. So with that, I ask you to please vote no or abstain on tonight and fight like heck to get Mrs. Hardin in April. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Roberts, you're recognized. Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. Oh. Okay. Councilman Roberts has called the previous question. We'll do this again. And I will tell you, the only two people left in the queue are people who have already talked, but I'm just letting you know. All those in favor of the previous question say aye. Aye. Opposed, no? Okay, previous question prevails. Okay, so we are on the board. I do appreciate everybody's comments tonight. Madam Clerk, if you will open up the board, and I assume if you vote yes, you will be voting for Ms. Hardin. If you vote no, you would be voting against Ms. Hardin. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, Roberts made the motion to approve.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the appointment. So if you're for Ms. Harden, you would vote yes. If you're against, you would vote no. Again, it has to have 21 votes pursuant to the charter and our rules and everything else. So it has to have 21 votes. So if Ms. Harden does not get 21 votes, it fails. All right. Any questions before you vote? Okay, Madam Clerk, if you would, please open up the machines. Everybody voted?
Yes.
Okay. Close the machines. Take the vote.
20 votes in favor, 10 against, 4 abstentions.
Okay. So, Ms. Harden, thank you very much, but your application fails. Okay. All right, the next pick, Human Relations Commission, appointment of Mr. Jorge Salas Diaz for a term expiring April 18, 2024. Councilmember Johnston, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We voted 10 in favor, 0 against, and I'd move his approval.
All right, so the motion is to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. We do have a public comment period. Actually, that's at this point, but I believe that there is no one listed on the public comment period. So we will move ahead with resolutions on public hearing. We do this the same way we always do it. I will call up the resolutions one at a time and then refer to the sponsor. Unless the sponsor moves to defer the public hearing, the sponsor will call for a public hearing, then ask for a show of hands for those who are here in favor of the resolution. They will ask for a show of hands for those who are in opposition to the resolution. Anyone in favor of the measure wishes to speak, I will ask you to come forward, find the microphone, introduce yourself, and give us your address, and then you'll have 2 minutes in which to speak. Then ask if anyone opposed wishes to speak. After that process, we'll close the public hearing, refer back to the sponsor. We are ready for the first measure. It is by Councilmember Welsh. Resolution exempting strikeout wings located at 2521 Nolensville Pike B from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit pursuant to Section 7.08.090E of the Metropolitan Code. Councilmember Welsh, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to open the public hearing.
Okay, so I declare the public hearing open. I'd like to see a show of hands of those who are here in favor of the resolution. Oh, there they are. Okay. Show of hands of those who are here in opposition to the resolution. Councilor Welsh, I don't see anybody back there. Those in favor of the resolution want to speak? Hold on just a second. Do we have enough people? Are we good? We do not have a quorum, so we're going to have to hold for just a second. All right. Councilmember Welsh, you were on resolution RS 2021-1038, resolution exempting strikeout wings located at 2521 Nolensville Pike B from the minimum distance requirement for obtaining a beer permit. You're on.
Your mic.
Probably sounded better that way. Again, let me repeat that. Okay, Councilmember Welsh, we're on your resolution 2021-1038. Resolution exempting strikeout wings located at 2521 Nolensville Pike B from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit pursuant to section 7.08.090E of the Metropolitan Code. Councilmember Welsh had called for the public hearing. I had seen 3 hands in the back. Let me repeat this. Anybody in opposition to this resolution? Seeing none, anybody in favor wish to speak? Sure, come on up to the podium.
Hello.
What I need is your name, address, 2 minutes in which to speak, and you're in favor of the measure, right?
Okay. Yes, sir. I am in favor. And my name is Shanar Tucker, and the address is 2521 Nolensville Pike. Are you asking for the address for the location?
Address for where you live.
Okay, 1121 Steelhouse Road, White House, Tennessee, 37188. And we are a family-owned business. We started off as a food truck a couple of years ago, and we had a hard time trying to get a restaurant, so we started off as a food truck. And we started this because of our kids are in sports. And we live in White House. We never had a place to go to enjoy with our kids and watch sports, so we decided to open up a restaurant, which is Wings, and have a time where people could come and enjoy fun and good time with their kids and watch sports. Just simple beer, no hard liquor or anything else. Just, just to enjoy with your family and talk about it. We used to just go home, and that was the end of that because we live in White House. It wasn't really nowhere to go eat at or nothing to talk about. But then we opened up our first location during the pandemic. We opened up 2 locations during the pandemic. And our first location, nobody has really helped us as far as government help or PPPs, and we've honestly been doing it ourselves. And now we want to get up there since we're not getting any help. So obviously people get beer not just because for the money, but everybody wants wings and beer. They want them together, and literally they demand it. And today is 69-cent wings, and they're literally sitting around the bar that we built for this, and they're just looking at us like with forks in their hand, like, we want the beer. So we're ready to give it to the community. Seriously, it's that serious. So, baby, did you want to talk today? And this is my husband, Faraji. We're a family-owned business, like I said, and we just want to help the community by just having a place where, whether it's girls or boys, come in and have dinner or lunch with their mom and daddy and watch sports, because everybody's into sports now, honestly.
That means your time expired. Just make sure I think it's illegal in the rules to bring beer and wings in here, but do you have some back in the back?
We were going to bring some wings, but it would have been cold by now.
All right. Thank you very much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Would you like to speak, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your time. Anybody else wish to speak? Seeing none, declare the public. Oh, I'm sorry. Come on up. Ma'am, I need your name, address, and you got 2 minutes in which to speak. And you may want to say if you're in favor or against.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Jamela Garrett, and my home address is 2131 Elm Hill Pike, apartment T350, and that's in Nashville, Tennessee, zip code 37210.
And go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to bring some issues to you guys about black mold that I am dealing with, as well as other people in the apartment complex. We stay at the Highland on Briley. We have addressed the issue to the property managers as well as the corporate office, and they have been sweeping these issues under the rug. My husband has severe sleep apnea because of black mold, and I'm not sure if anyone has brought the issue to you guys about what's going on over there in that community. I'm not sure if they are afraid to speak out because of retaliation. I, as well as other people, have received a letter on my door about a past due rent, and it's not even the end of the month, about the rent that we were supposed to have paid. And I'm not understanding why would they put my family as well as other people's families in jeopardy. We go to work, there's single mothers over there where we live at, and they go to work and they work hard. My mother was a single parent. And she made sure that her kids, as well as other people's children, made sure that they were okay. But it's not fair. I wanted to bring this issue to your attention because, like I said, there's other people besides myself that has received a notice on the door. There's black mold, there's flooding. There's a young lady in the audience right now who has flooding in her apartment, and she's asked them to do something about it, and they have not done anything about it. So I'm not sure what you guys can do about this issue. I can only speak for myself as well as other people, but I wanted to bring this issue to you guys because this is a community issue. That's all I have.
Ma'am, let me make sure. So obviously this is a public hearing on a particular beer permit.
Okay.
It sounds like you've got an additional with black mold and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what district you're in?
I'm in Davidson County.
Okay. Do you know which council district you're in?
No, sir. I'm not even from here. I'm from North Carolina, but I've lived here since March the 1st of this year.
Okay. So we're concerned about your issue, but we need to know what part of town you live in so I can direct you to the right council member. Councilmember Roten?
It's my understanding it's been looked up. It's in Councilmember Syracuse's district.
So, Councilmember Roten, would you mind doing me a favor and talk to this lady and get the information for Councilmember Syracuse? Ma'am, Councilmember Roten, who is right here, is going to come around and meet you on the side, and he'll try to figure out your issue, okay? Okay. All right, anybody else here on this particular matter? I've got hands going up. This is on a beer permit? Okay, all right. All right, so anybody else here on the beer permit? I'm seeing people motioning, but anybody else going to speak on the beer permit? Okay, declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Welsh, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. We are very happy to have Strikeout Wings in the 16th. It's one of the new small businesses that we have been trying to attract to the district, and I am looking forward to them having a very long and storied history in the district as families come in and watch sports and eat wings, and I would like to move to approve.
Okay, so the motion is to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion on the resolution? Councilmember Sledge?
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and I know this is on the district line, so I wanted to, and I've seen the billboard and I've been wanting to come in. I just wanted to apologize to the owners and to Councilmember Wells for the constituents of District 17 begging on your bar and demanding beer. We'll try to get them in line. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Sledge. Any other discussion that doesn't involve trying to get beer? Seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution say aye. Opposed, no. Resolution is passed. RS 2021-1039 by Councilmember Roberts. Resolution exempting Longhorn Steakhouse 5639 located at 6804 Charlotte Pike from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit pursuant to Section 7.08.090E of the Metropolitan Code. Councilmember Roberts, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to call for committee reports, please.
That's right. We didn't get the committee reports on the first one. Public safety, can you give us back both of them, Councilmember Nash, both on 1038 and 1039? Who's got it? Councilmember Gamble, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. For Resolution 1038, 7 in favor, 0 against on the Strikeout Wings beer permit. And for Resolution 1039, 7 in favor, 0 against.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Gamble. That's public safety. That's why I went to you, Councilmember Nash. Thank you. All right. Councilmember Roberts, you're recognized on 1039.
With committee reports in, I'd like to move for approval, please.
You need to have the public hearing.
Oh, yeah. Here's
Okay. So I declare the public hearing open. All those in favor of this resolution, please raise your hand. Councilmember Nash, that doesn't count. Okay. All those in favor? Are you in favor, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody in favor of the resolution, please raise your hand. Anybody here opposed to the resolution, please raise your hand. Ma'am, do you wish to speak on the resolution?
I was just, my name is Leslie Godfrey. I live at 1055 Pine Street Flats. I just want to thank Councilmember Roberts for supporting this resolution.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay. Declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Roberts.
Now I'd like to move for approval, please.
Okay, so the motion is to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. That takes us through resolutions on public hearing. We're now on consent resolutions and resolutions. Let me go through this and let me make sure that I've got all this stuff correct. I'm going to read you the measures on the consent agenda. The first one, item number 3, 1040 is on consent. 1041 on consent. 1043 on consent. 1049 on consent, 1050 on consent, 1051 on consent, 52 on consent, 53 on consent, 54 on consent, 55 on consent, 56 on consent. Yeah, let me get through this and I'll come back to you. 57 is on consent, 58 is on consent, 59 needs to be pulled, correct? That's the one that Councilmember Allen's got. Yeah. Okay. 1060 is on consent. And 1061, Councilmember Van Rees, you want that one pulled. All right. Councilmember O'Connell, which one you want it pulled? Okay. So 1055 is also going to be pulled. That is item number 55. I'm sorry. 1055 is item number 18. Okay, anything else that needs to be pulled off of consent? All right, seeing none. Okay, so these are items on the consent agenda. Here we go. Item number 3, RS 2021-1040 by Toombs, Gamble, Welsh, and others. Resolution accepting a grant from the Tennessee Department of Transportation to the Metropolitan Government through the Sheriff's Office to provide litter pickup and litter prevention education within Davidson County. Item number 4, RS 2021-1041, Benedict, Suara, Toombs, and others. Resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency to negotiate and enter into a pilot agreement, set payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to a multifamily housing project located at 94 Berkeley Drive and 1310 Cortland Drive, known as Chippington Towers. Item number 6, RS 2021-1043 by Toombs and Van Rees. Resolution accepting a grant from the Tennessee Arts Commission, acting by and through the Metropolitan Arts Commission, for general operating support to expand, improve, and develop the arts in Tennessee. Item number 12, this is RS 2021-1049, Toombs, Van Rees, and Welsh, and others. Resolution accepting a grant from the Tennessee State Library and Archives to the Metropolitan Government through the Public Library to provide funds to hire computer instructors to provide free technology training to the general public. Item number 13, RS 2021-1050, Toombs, Van Rees, and Suara. Resolution accepting a grant from the Tennessee State Library and Archives to the Metropolitan Government through the Nashville Public Library to target library materials to persons having difficulty using a library and to provide special services to children and the underserved. Item number 14, RS 2021-1051, Taylor, Toombs, and Van Rees. Resolution accepting an in-kind grant from Creative Parks Nashville to the Metropolitan Government through the Parks and Board of Parks and Recreation for improvements to the Centennial Arts Center shed roof project. RS 2021-1052, Weathers, Toombs, and Van Rees. Resolution approving Amendment 1 to a grant from the Friends of Shelby Park and Bottoms to the Metropolitan Government through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation to provide various repair and construction improvements to Shelby Park and Bottoms. RS 2021-1053 by Toombs, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Department of Law to compromise and settle the civil rights and state law claims of Patrick Grieve against Austin Bass in the amount of $80,000, said amount to be paid out of the Judgment and Losses Fund. RS 2021-1054, Toombs, Gamble, Welsh, and Suara, resolution approving an application for a DNA capacity enhancement for backlog reduction grant for the U.S. Department of Justice to the Metropolitan Government through the Nashville Police Department to outsource sexual assault kits to private vendors for forensic care sample analysis to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of the forensic biology unit. And item number 19, RS 2021-1056, O'Connell, Toombs, Murphy, and Nash, resolution approving an intergovernmental participation agreement between the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Department of Water and Sewer Services and the State of Tennessee Department of General Services to provide improved public sanitary sewer service through the construction of an improved stormwater system. RS 2021-1057, item number 20, Murphy and Nash, resolution to amend ordinance number BL 2018-1162, authorize the Metropolitan Government to modify the acceptance of public sewer mains, manholes, and easements, and update map and parcel information for now 3 properties located at 1000 Bradford Village Drive, 701B Bradburn Village Way and Bradburn Village Circle. Let's see, that's 2021-1057, again, Murphy and Nash. 2021-1058 by Councilmember Hurt, resolution honoring the life of Dr. Frederick S. Humphreys, former Tennessee State University president. RS 2021-1060, resolution recognizing the 100th anniversary of St. Anne Church and School, Murphy, Druffel, and Mendez. And that's it. Those are all the bills on the consent calendar. Anything else needs to be come off? Anything else needs to come off the consent calendar? All right. All right, so let's go through these. Let's see. The first one I've got is 1041, which is by Affordable Housing. Who has that report? Councilmember Parker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We voted 8 in favor, 0 opposed to RS 2021-1041, Affordable Housing Committee.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Parker. Councilmember Toombs, you got Budget and Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted to recommend approval 9-4-0 against for Resolution 2021-1040, 1041, 1043, 1049, 1050, 1051, 1052, 1053, 1054, and 1056.
All right, thank you. Parks, Library, and Arts, Councilmember Van Rees.
Parks, Library, and Arts met, and we approved 6 in favor, 0 against. Resolution 1043, 1049, 1050, 1051, and 1052.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Murphy, Planning and Zoning.
Thank you. We had Resolution 2021-1042.
1042 is not on consent.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, then we'll just move on to 1056.
Okay.
And it looks like our only other one was 1057?
Yeah.
Really, that was it? 15 in favor, 14 in favor, or 0 against.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Gamble, Public Safety.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public Safety recommended approval for 1040 and 1054, 7 in favor, 0 is against.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Nash, Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Public Works Committee took up 1056 and 1057 and recommended approval, 6 in favor, 0 against.
All right, and Councilmember Johnston, you've got the last report.
Thank you. Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections had RS 2021-1058 and 1060. We voted 9 in favor, 0 against, and with that, I would move approval of the consent agenda.
All right, so I got a motion to approve the consent agenda, properly seconded. Any discussion? Let's see, hold on. I think so. Okay, double check. It did. Yeah, it did. Okay, so I got a motion to approve, properly seconded. No discussion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Consent agenda is adopted. Okay. We're back on bills that are not on consent agenda. The first one is RS 2021-1042 by Parker, Van Rees, Toombs, and others, a resolution to approve the Second Amendment to the lease agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and the State of Tennessee for operation of a medical examiner's office. Councilmember Parker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval with a brief comment.
All right, so let me get some committee reports in. I got Budget and Finance. Councilmember Toombs.
Budget and Finance voted to recommend approval 9-4-0 against.
Okay, Health and Hospitals. Who's got Health and Councilmember Welsh?
Health and Hospitals did not have a quorum, so we did not vote on any of our bills.
Okay, so we can keep going though, right? And Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
14 in favor, 0 against.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Parker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just wanted to highlight and thank Councilmember Mendez for raising a question in Budget and Finance yesterday about some of the negotiated terms of the lease. I had some questions about that, and the Health Department did respond with an email kind of spelling out exactly what changes are being made and what we can anticipate in the future in terms of facilities cost here. So I'm grateful for the health department's response there, and I would ask for my colleagues' support on this.
All right. So we're ready to vote on RS 2021-1042. Proper motion, proper second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. RS 2021-1044, that's item number 7. Resolution accepting a grant from the Tennessee Department of Health to the Metropolitan Government through the Metropolitan Board of Health to provide an array of programs and direct patient care services to meet the public health needs of Tennessee citizens. That's by Toombs, Taylor, and Welsh. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
I've got Budget and Finance.
Budget and Finance voted to recommend approval, 9-4-0 against.
And Health and Hospitals didn't have a quorum? Okay, so we can continue on. Councilmember Toombs, back to you.
Move for approval.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion on the resolution? Ready to vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. We're on RS 2021-1045. That's item number 8. Toombs, Taylor, and Welsh. Resolution accepting a COVID-19 health disparities among populations grant from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to address COVID-19 related health disparities and expand capacity and services to prevent and control infection or transmission among undeserved populations. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized.
Thank you again, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
It's yours.
Budget and Finance voted to recommend approval, 9-4-0 against.
And Health still didn't have a quorum on this one. Okay. So Councilmember Toombs, back to you.
Move for approval.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. All right. The reason we have so many off the consent calendar is that Health, because they didn't have a quorum, they're having to come through the consent, non-consent. Item number 9, RS 2021-1046, resolution approving Amendment 3 to a grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health for the ongoing collection of data on ambient air concentrations for fine particulate matter in Nashville, Tennessee. Toombs, Taylor, Welsh, Hancock, and Hurt are the sponsors. Councilmember Toombs, you recognize.
Committee report.
It's yours.
Budget and Finance voted to recommend approval, 9-4-0 against.
Okay, and Health did not have a quorum, so Councilmember Toombs, back to you.
Move for approval.
Okay, motion is to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. RS 2021-1047, Toombs, Taylor, Suara, and Welsh, a resolution approving Amendment 3 to a grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metropolitan Government, acting by through the Metropolitan Social Services Commission to provide nutrition HCBS to eligible seniors throughout Davidson County. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized.
Committee report.
It's yours.
Budget and Finance voted to recommend approval, 9-4-0 against.
No report from Health, so Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized.
Move for approval.
Okay, motion is to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. RS 2021-1048, Toombs, Taylor, Suara, and Welsh. Resolution approving Amendment 7 to a grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metropolitan Social Services Commission to provide meals that meet RDA nutritional guidelines and transportation services to eligible seniors and handicapped residents. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized.
Committee report.
It's yours.
Budget and Finance voted to recommend approval, 9-4-0 against.
Health and Hospitals didn't have a quorum. Back to you, Councilmember Toombs.
Move for approval.
Motion is to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. We're on item number 18. Is that right? RS 2021-1055 by Withers and O'Connell. Resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement by and between the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation and the Metropolitan Government, acting through the Department of Public Works for the acceptance of work in connection with the installation of separated bike lanes on Union Street from 2nd Avenue North to 1st Avenue North, Woodland Street from 1st Avenue North to South 11th Street, South 5th Street from Woodland Street to Davidson Street, South 10th Street from Woodland Street to Sevier Street. A lot of connections. Councilmember Withers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Could I get committee reports, please?
You certainly can. Councilmember Toombs, Budget and Finance.
Budget and Finance voted to recommend approval, 9-4-0 against.
All right, Councilmember Murphy, Planning and Zoning.
14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember Nash, Public Works.
Public Works recommended approval, 6 in favor, 0 against.
All right, back to you, Councilmember Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to renew my motion for approval unless there's any other discussion.
All right, the motion is to approve. It's been properly seconded. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. This one is a great piece of connective tissue between districts 6 and 19, and it will give cyclists an opportunity to have low stress connection across both the interstate and the river. And you'll see it'll come right to the steps of Public Square. It's a great project. We've been working on it for years. I'm strongly supportive of it. I think you'll note, though, that it reveals how important coordinated infrastructure delivery is. As stipulated here, the project would end at 2nd. Then 1 block over on 3rd, we would see the core bikeways demonstration project, which is in implementation right now, stop, leaving a gap in that low stress process, which is the way that you get less experienced riders or riders who feel unsafe in mixed traffic conditions to be able to get on their bikes and get to places. We know that employers like Amazon, as workers start returning to offices, are literally offering incentives for people to find ways other than driving in single occupant vehicles to access downtown. I've spoken with multiple departments through the committee process and expect that we will resolve this, but this is a great case study in how important it is to get coordinated infrastructure delivery. So encourage colleagues to support, but we do need to make sure that final block gets resolved as a part of the overall project design. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember O'Connell. I think he was the only one in the queue. Back to Councilmember Withers. We've got a motion to approve, properly seconded. All right. All those in favor of the resolution say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. The next one is item 22R is 2021-1059 by Saguaro Syracuse Sledge and others. Resolution recognizing the retirement of Metro Nashville Police Schools teacher Lindell Edmondson. I believe Councilmember Allen is handling this one. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I move to, I'll get to committee reports and then I'll make my motion.
Okay. Rules confirmation, Councilmember Johnston.
Thank you. We voted 9 in favor, 0 against.
All right. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'd like to move to defer with a brief explanation.
All right. The motion is to defer 1 meeting. Properly seconded. Councilmember Allen, you're
Thank you. Councilmember Suara is the one who wrote this resolution and really wanted to be here to speak on it. So we're going to save it so she can tell us about this teacher that we're honoring.
All right. Thank you very much, Councilmember Allen. The motion is to defer 1 meeting. Again, properly seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Resolution is adopted. The last one on the calendar in the consent agenda is RS 2021-1061 by Van Reese, Allen, Johnston, Murphy, and a host of others. Resolution celebrating and commemorating the 50th anniversary of the passage of Title IX. Councilmember Van Reese, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you so much, colleagues, for a moment just to speak on this. As the Olympic Games begin in preparation, I know that we're looking forward to opening ceremonies and watching. I think actually the women's softball are playing in the middle of the night tonight. I wanted to make sure and pause and let you guys know that the Title IX is going to be celebrating its 50th anniversary next June, actually June the 23rd. And there are a number of girls playing high school sports, and it's actually multiplied over tenfold since 1972 when the law was passed. And indeed, women today account for nearly half of all college athletes, and there's more opportunities for young women to have professional sports career than ever before. The Nashville Sports Council, along with the city's colleges and universities, are celebrating this upcoming 50th anniversary with a focus on female athletes at their events. We'll also be working with a number of organizations to highlight Nashville's royalty in regard to women athletes and recognizing them individually with resolutions throughout this coming year. The Sports Authority's facility partners are also celebrating the anniversary, sponsoring events featuring young female athletes. Since November of 19, the Sports Authority, with the assistance of others of its Women's Professional Sports Ad Hoc Committee and the Advisory Committee on Women in Sports, of which I'm proud to be a member and represent you there, has sought to attract and secure a women's professional sports team in Nashville to exercise the existing facilities and promote professional and amateur women's sports throughout the city. So this resolution was brought to be able to kind of put a flag in the year that's going to be coming ahead. You're going to see a number of different celebrations throughout the city, and I appreciate the opportunity for the Women's Caucus and the council at large to be participating in those events throughout the year, and this resolution is the first of those actions. With that, I ask for a committee report, and we'll move motion after that.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Van Rees. Councilmember Johnston, and come before rules.
Thank you. We voted 9 in favor, 0 against.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Van Rees.
Move approval, please.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. All right. We're now on bills on first reading. We had no late filed resolutions. We'll take all the bills together. Does anything need to come off of first reading? Councilmember Allen, do you need to pull anything off? Okay. Sorry, hold on. Okay.
Thank you. I would like to pull BL 2021-832, please.
832, which is number 28 on your package.
That's correct.
Okay. That one's pulled off first consideration. Anything else that needs to be pulled off of first consideration? Okay, if not, if there's no objection, we'll consider all other ordinances on first reading in one vote at this time. Motion to adopt. See one motion, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of bills on introduction first reading, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. We are back on the one bill, BL 2021-832. That's item number 28. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized. Ordinance to amend various sections of Title 17 of the Metropolitan Zoning Code to incentivize inclusionary housing with any residential development that seeks additional development entitlements beyond that permitted by the current base zoning district. Councilmember Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for passage on first reading and to defer the second reading to the first meeting in October.
Okay, so the motion is to approve tonight on first reading and then have second on the first meeting in October?
Correct. That would be public hearing.
Okay.
With the
Okay, that's the motion, properly seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is adopted. Okay, that takes care of all bills on first reading. We are now on bills on second reading. I'm on page 12 of my calendar. It's item number 37. All right. We do have a second reading consent agenda. Okay, so let me go through those. Item number 42, that's the first one I've got. 794 is on consent. Item number 45, 800 is on consent. 801 is on consent. 802 is on consent. 803 is on consent. 804, 805, 806, and 807. Okay, let me read them again. 794, 800, 801, 802, 803, 804, 805, 806, 807. Anything needs to be bumped off of that consent calendar? All right. Item number 42, BL 2021-794 by Councilmember Nash. Ordinance amending Metropolitan Code of Law, Section 15.44.050. Water is diverted from public sewerage by deleting subsection E, green roofs. Item number 45, BL 2021-800 by Councilmember Johnston. Ordinance readopting the Code of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, prepared by Municipal Code Corporation, including supplemental replacement pages thereof, containing certain ordinances of a general and permanent nature enacted on or before March 22nd, 2021. Item number 46, BL 2021-801 by Sledge, Murphy, Nash, and O'Connell. Ordinance to amend the GIS system street and alley centerline layer for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by abandoning a portion of Hamilton Avenue right-of-way adjacent to map 1050602-6400. Item number 47, BL 2021-802, Roberts, Murphy, and Nash. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing public sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manholes and easements, except new sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manholes and easements for two properties located at 6001 and 6003B O'Brien Avenue. That's Roberts, Murphy, and Nash. Item number 48, BL 2021-803, O'Connell, Murphy, and Nash. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing combination sewer and water mains, combination sewer manholes, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements, and to accept new combination sewer, sanitary sewer, and water mains, combination sewer manhole inlets, sanitary sewer manholes, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements for 5 properties located on Church Street and 12th Avenue North. Item number 49, BL 2021-804 by Sledge, Murphy, and Nash. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing water and sanitary sewer, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements, and to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements property located at 300 Rains Avenue, also known as MLS Fairgrounds Development. BL 2021-805, Toombs, Murphy, and Nash. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept a new sanitary sewer manhole for property located at 251 Venture Circle, also known as the 261 French Landing Development. Item number 51, BL 2021-806, Parker, Murphy, and Nash. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to relocate a public fire hydrant assembly for properties located at 750 and 754 Douglas Avenue. O'Connell, Murphy, and Nash, BL 2021-807. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to accept new water main, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements for property located at 1320 Adams Street, also known as the Newhoff Development Phase 2. And that's it, 807. Anything needs to be bumped off the consent calendar? All right, seeing none, we're ready to take up committee reports. I've got Planning and Zoning. Councilmember Murphy, you're recognized.
Thank you. I think we are starting with 799. Is that correct?
I've got 801 as your first one.
Well, all right then. 801, 14 to 0. Then I have 802, 803, 804, 805, 806, 807. 14 in favor, 0 against. Is that all you need from me?
That's all I need from you. Councilmember Nash, Public Works.
Public Works took up 794, 801, 802, 803, 804, 805, 806, 807, and recommended approval on all. 6 in favor, 0 against.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Johnston, you've got 1, I think, on rules.
Rules considered BL 2021-800, and we voted 9 in favor, 0 against. I'd move the consent agenda.
Let me see. I don't want to get taken off. 801, we've got 1 more on there, traffic and parking. Councilmember O'Connell.
Oh, I'm usually the last one.
Thank you, Mr. President. We voted 5 in favor, 0 against for BL 2021-801.
All right, and need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Got a motion to approve the second reading consent calendar. Properly seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Okay. All right, now we're going to go back to those bills on second reading that were not on the consent calendar. Item number 37, it's the first bill up. BL 2019-7 by Councilmember O'Connell, ordinance to amend section 6.28.030 of the Metropolitan Code regarding the existence of short-term rental property owner-occupied in a 2-family zoning district. Councilmember O'Connell, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to get committee reports, please.
Okay, Codes, Fair, Farmers Market. Councilmember Cash, you're recognized.
We voted 7 to 0 to defer 2 meetings.
Okay. Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
It was 14 in favor, 0 against.
I don't think it was.
It was a disadvantage. Yeah, this was disapproved.
Oh,
by
I'm
your
sorry. It was 5-7 to 1.
5-7 to 1. Okay. All right. Back to you, Councilmember O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I find that when your bill doesn't make it out of committee with recommendation, you remember those moments. So in this case, though, between the 2 committees, what I would like to do is take the code's recommendation and move to defer 2 meetings and re-refer to planning. I think it'll be referred automatically to codes.
It'll go back to codes. So you want to defer 2 meetings and then refer it back to planning and zoning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
yes, sir.
That's the motion. Properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Item number 38 and 39, Councilmember Mendez is abstaining on both of these. Councilmember Rosenberg, these are both your bills 654 and 655. Ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws by changing from RM2 to RS40. Property located at 6,000 River Valley Drive, the southeast corner of River Valley Drive and Newsom Station Road, located within a plan unit development overlay. And 655, ordinance to amend Title 17 by canceling a portion of the Riverwalk Plan Unit Development District, located at 6,000 River Valley Drive, southeast corner of River Valley Drive and Newsom Station Road. Councilmember Rosenberg, you're recognized on both those bills.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Committee reports, please.
You've got Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
They were both deferred by rule.
Okay, Councilmember Rosenberg.
Deferred by rule, please.
Okay, both deferred by rule. Okay, what do you want to do? All right, thank you. Both of these are deferred by rule. 654, 655, they'll be deferred in one meeting. BL 2021-792 by Councilmember Allen. Ordinance amending Chapter 2.136 of the Metropolitan Code to require the Planning Department to provide periodic reports regarding the Metropolitan Government's effort to address the issue of housing affordability in Nashville and Davidson County. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
This was amended and passed 14 in favor, 0 against.
All right, thank you. Affordable Housing, Councilmember Parker.
Affordable Housing recommended approval as amended, 8-4-0 against.
Okay. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I would like to move the amendment, please.
Okay. So Councilmember Allen has moved an amendment on 2021-792, properly seconded. Back to you for an explanation.
Thank you. Just briefly, it's a housekeeping amendment to remove 2 rogue words that were left over from the draft and just need to be taken out.
All right. So you've heard an explanation of the amendment. Any questions regarding the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Amendment passes. Councilmember Allen, you're on 2021-792 as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I would like to move approval as amended with a brief explanation.
All right. So Councilmember Allen has moved 2021-792 as amended, properly seconded. Back to you for a brief explanation.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. We passed a resolution a couple of years ago that would that asked for a housing scorecard, as it were, that would simply give us a quarterly update on how the city was doing in producing new affordable housing units, which is something that is of interest to everyone. And at the time, simply didn't have the personnel to actually make that happen. In the last budget, we voted on 2 new positions in planning to be focused on affordable housing, and one of those is actually dedicated to data. So we now have the personnel to make that happen. So I'm excited to be changing this to an ordinance so that we know that this can actually be a dashboard that will be available to people at any given time to see, as we celebrated 2 ribbon cuttings in the past 2 days on new units that have come online, and people just aren't aware of how much is happening. So I'm excited that we're going to be able to make this data available as we continue to come up with more tools on affordable housing. And with that, I would ask my colleagues on the Affordable Housing Committee and anyone else who cares about this issue to sign on to this. And I renew my motion for approval.
Okay. Got a motion to approve on second reading. It's amended as well. Properly second, nobody else in the queue. All those in favor of 2021-792 as amended, say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Item number 41, BL 2021-793 by Councilmember Withers. Ordinance amending Section 13.08.030 of the Metropolitan Code with respect to liability insurance coverage requirements in connection with certain public right-of-way encroachments. Councilmember Withers, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Could I get committee reports, please?
Public Works, Councilmember Nash, you're recognized. We're on
Public Works,
793.
Yes, Public Works approved or recommends approval 6-0.
All right, Budget and Finance, Councilmember Toombs.
Budget and Finance voted to recommend approval, 9-4-0 against.
All right, back to you, Councilmember Withers.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for a 2-meeting deferral with a brief comment.
Okay, the motion is to defer for 2 meetings, properly seconded. Councilmember Withers, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Mayor. This comes from the administration and the Department of Public Works, or Department of Transportation, as it's going to be tomorrow. But this pertains to beautification projects that neighborhoods might want to work on, and actually provide some updated clarification and guidance about ways to get those approved with Public Works if they're in a public right-of-way. I think this is actually very beneficial to neighborhoods. The purpose for the 2-meeting deferral is that I'm going to try to work with Neighbor to Neighbor and maybe some other organizations so that we can get staff to be present for neighborhood groups so they can get their questions answered and learn how to take advantage of this program if they're eligible for it. So the 2-meeting deferral gives a little bit more time to have a couple of community meetings. I'll be sure to let folks know about it and encourage my council colleagues to join those once they're announced, or let me know if there's something I can join as well. But again, that is just for an education period, and renew my motion for a 2-meeting deferral to bring it back before this body in September.
Okay. All right. So the request is to move to defer. It's 2 meetings. 2 meetings. It's been properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to defer 2 meetings say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is deferred 2 meetings. Next one we've got is item number 43, BL 2021-795 by Councilmember Porterfield. Ordinance to amend section 16.24.330 of the Metropolitan Code pertaining to intermodal containers on residential property. Councilmember Porterfield, you're recognized. All right, so the bill is deferred by rule anyway. Codes. Let me get a report from Codes. Councilmember Cash.
Deferred by rule.
Deferred by rule, so we go on. Okay. Deferred by a rule for 1 meeting. Okay. Item number 44, BL 2021-799, Henderson, Porterfield, Murphy, and Nash. Ordinance authorizing the granting of temporary construction easements to Piedmont Natural Gas Company, Inc. on a parcel of property located by the Metropolitan Government. This would be handled by Councilmember Porterfield. You're recognized on 799. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Councilmember Murphy, you're recognized. I got it.
Thank you. I would like committee reports before moving an amendment.
All right. Budget and Finance, Councilmember Toombs.
Budget and Finance voted to recommend approval as amended, 9-4-0 against.
Okay. Public Works, Councilmember Nash.
Public Works recommended approval, 6 in favor, 0 against.
And you've got the last one.
It is my understanding there are 2 amendments on this, and so twice amended, it is 14 in favor, 0 against, and I would like to move both amendments.
Okay, so let's go. Okay, so let's do them one at a time. So we're on BL 2021-799. It's by Henderson, Porterfield, Murphy, and Nash. Murphy is the lead right now. Councilmember Murphy has moved the first amendment, which is by Councilmember Henderson. Okay, is that right? Okay, so I've got a motion to move Councilmember Henderson's motion, properly seconded. Do you want our legal director to explain it, or do you know what it means?
I think it's self-explanatory, but further explanation can be warranted.
Okay. Ms. Zeitlin, can you explain what the amendment does, the first one?
This amendment adds 2 recitals. The first talks about trees as a utility. The second just notes that Section 1724-110 of the Metro Code requires certain tree protection activities during development, and that those will be observed within the easement area identified in this legislation.
All right, so.
I agree with Ms. Zeitlin. I renew my motion.
Okay. So Councilmember Murphy has renewed her motion on the First Amendment. Again, properly seconded. Any discussion on the First Amendment? Seeing none on the amendment, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Councilmember Murphy, you're on a late filed amendment.
I'd like to suspend the rules.
Councilmember Johnston, did this come before you?
It did, and we had no objection.
Okay. So Councilmember Murphy, could you just briefly explain what this amendment does?
I would actually prefer Ms. Zeitlin to take a stab at it if Councilman Mendez would take his seat.
Okay. Ms. Zeitlin?
So this amendment corrects language in Section 1 of the legislation where it was a copy-paste error that referred to a separate easement on Bransford Avenue. This just corrects the language to refer to the Piedmont easement shown in the legislation.
Sounds accurate. Renew my motion.
But I have to suspend the rules. Did I miss to do that?
I think that they suspended, yeah, they suspended the rules.
Waiting for Bob to tell me what we did. Did we do something wrong?
No, I just didn't know what happened to this one.
Deferred by rule.
Okay, I went to.
All right.
Deferred by rule.
All right, we're just making sure we're in the right place.
okay, sorry.
So this one
My
we went
apologies.
through rules, suspended the rules to get to this amendment. It's a late filed amendment. That's why we had to suspend the rules. Councilmember Murphy has moved for this late filed amendment, properly seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we're voting on a late filed amendment. All those in favor of the late filed amendment say aye. Opposed, no. Late filed amendments on. Councilmember Murphy, we're all the way back to you on your bill.
Renew my motion.
Okay, so the motion is to approve Bill 2021-799 as amended, to approve on second reading. Seeing nobody in the queue, all those in favor of 2021-799 as amended, say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. All right. Is that it on second? Okay, so that takes us through second reading. We are now on third reading. We're on the consent agenda. Let me go through those. The first one is item 55. It's a Bill 2021-705. 725 is on consent.
721.
721, sorry. 721 is on consent. 735 is on consent. 763 is on consent. 764, 765, 767, 768, 769, 770, 771, 772, 774, 775, 778, 782, 785, and 786. Okay. Anything needs to come off of the third reading consent calendar? Okay. Okay, the first item is item number 55. It's BL 2021-705 by Councilmember Stiles. It's an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code by canceling a portion of a plan unit development overlay district for various parcels located at 5178 and 5234 Mount View Road unnumbered 5246, 5252, and 5260 Hickory Hollow Parkway, 927 Bell Road. That's by Councilmember Stiles. The next one is item 57, BL 2021-721, Porterfield, Murphy, Syracuse, and Bradford. Ordinance amending section 17.08.030 and 17.16.050 of the Metropolitan Code zoning regulations to remove the alternative financial services use from the ON office neighborhood, CN commercial neighborhood, CNA commercial neighborhood alternative, CNS commercial neighborhood, no STRP, and CNA NS commercial neighborhood alternative, no STRP zoning districts. That's by Councilmember Porterfield. Item number 58, BL 2021-735 by O'Connell. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by amending a specific planned district on property located at 50 Music Square West at the southeast corner of Chet Atkins Place and Music Square West 0.52 acres. Add multifamily residential as a permitted use in addition to the uses already permitted by the SP. Item number 59, BL 2021-763 by Sledge. Ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, changing from IWD to MUL. NS zoning for property located at 609 Merritt Avenue, approximately 200 feet west of Martin Street, 0.40 acres. BL 2021-764 by Councilmember Van Reese. Ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws by changing from OG to MUGA zoning for properties located at 607 West Due West Avenue and Lentz Drive at the southwest corner of West Due West Avenue and Briarville Road and partially located within a planned unit development overlay. BL 2021-765, that's item number 61 by Van Reese. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by canceling a planned unit development overlay district for properties located at 607 West Due West Avenue, southwest corner of West Due West Avenue and Briarville Road. BL 2021-767 by Councilmember O'Connell. Ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code by applying a historic landmark overlay district to properties located at 606 and 708th Avenue South. Item number 63, BL 2021-768 by Councilmember Bradford. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS10 to SP zoning for properties located at 3128 Elm Hill Pike and Elm Hill Pike unnumbered to permit 38 multifamily residential units. BL 2021-769 by Councilmember Sledge. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from IWD to MULANS zoning for properties located at 510 Interstate Boulevard South and 341 Heron Drive. Bill 2021-770 by Councilmember Van Reese. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by amending a specific plan for property located at 555 Creative Way to add .33 acres for a total of 4.71 acres to permit a mixed-use development. Bill 2021-771 by Syracuse and Roten. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS10 to SP zoning for property located at 200 Craig Mead Drive, permits 6,000 square feet of office space. BL 2021-772, item number 67 by Councilmember Young. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from CS, RS20, and R10 to SP zoning for properties located at 320 Canary Drive, 110 One Mile Parkway, and Gallatin Pike unnumbered to permit 396 multifamily residential units. BL 2021-774, item number 69 by Sledge, an ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from IWD to MULANS zoning for properties located at 509 and 511 Hagan Street, at the southeast corner of Hagan Street and Gray Street, .22 acres. Bill 2021-775 O. O'Connell, ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws by changing from CN to SP zoning for property located at 1803 Fifth Avenue North to permit 4 multifamily residential units and 1,900 square feet of non-residential uses. Item number 71, BL 2021-777 by Councilmember, no, that's not on consent. BL 2021-778 by Councilmember Hager. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS10 to RM6 NS zoning for properties located at 4224, 4226, and 4230 Andrew Jackson Parkway, approximately 575 feet north of Tyler Drive, 3.61 acres. BL 2021-782 by Toombs, Taylor, Sledge, and Hurd and others, an ordinance repealing section 2.56.135 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws pertaining to the assessment and collection of probation and supervision fees. Item number 76, BL 2021-785 by Councilmember Rosenberg, ordinance to amend the GIS system street and alley centerline layer for the Metropolitan government by renaming Tulip Tree Court as Tulip Tree Court and renaming Tulip Tree Lane as Tulip Tree Lane south of Poplar Creek Trace. BL 2021-786 by Evans, Murphy, and Nash. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan government to accept new sanitary sewer and water mains, sanitary sewer manholes, fire hydrant assemblies, and easements for property located at 4225 Central Pike, also known as New Hope Village. That's Evans, Murphy, and Nash. I think that's it. Anything need to come off the consent calendar? All right, let's see if I've got committee reports. I got a budget and finance. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized.
We've
782.
We've already had the committee report on this one. It went through budget and finance on second reading.
On second reading? Okay. This is showing up on my third reading consent, so it was 782. So it's already been passed on second reading. It's just on the wrong calendar. Councilmember Murphy, you've got the rest of them.
705, 14 in favor, 0 against. 721, 14 in favor, 0 against. 735, 763, 764, 765, 767, 768, 769, 770, 771, 772, 774, 775, 778, all 14 in favor, 0 against. With all committee reports in, I move approval.
Good, 85 and 86.
I didn't hear those. Well, let me check those.
85 and 86. 785, 786.
14 in favor, 0 against.
Okay, thank you. Got them. All right. Councilmember Murphy.
With all committee reports in, move for approval.
Motion to approve properly seconded. Any discussion on the third reading consent calendar? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. All right, let's go back to pick up bills on third reading that we did not have. Hold on. Where is it? Thank you. There it is. All right, we're on item number 53. It's on page 18. This is a measure by Councilmember Syracuse, Murphy, Van Reese, and others. Ordinance amending Metropolitan Code Chapters 5.20 and 17.40, authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to come under the provisions of Tennessee Code annotated section 67-5-218, establishing a historic property review board empowered to obey property taxes relating to certain improvements or restorations made to historic properties. There are committee reports, but this one has to be deferred automatically by one meeting since it just got put back on. So we don't need the committee reports. It's an automatic deferral. Item number 54, it's the same thing. Councilmember Syracuse, O'Connell, and others. Ordinance authorizing property tax exemption for historic properties owned by charitable institutions in accordance with Tennessee Code annotated section 67-5-222. That is also an automatic deferral. We're on item number 56, BL 2021-716 by Councilmember Taylor. Ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws by changing a specific plan on property located at 401 Clay Street, approximately 310 feet southwest of 3rd Avenue North, to add a .87 acre parcel to the existing SP to allow for a parking lot, all of which is described within. Councilmember Taylor is not here, so it's an automatic deferral of one meeting. Okay. Item number 68, Bill 2021-773 by Councilmember Withers. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from MULA to SP zoning for properties located at 943, 945, and 947 Woodland Street. Permit a mixed-use development. Councilmember Withers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Could I get committee reports, please?
You certainly can. Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
It was approved as amended, 14 in favor, 0 against.
All right, Councilmember Murphy. Councilmember Withers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Do I need to move the amendment?
You need to move the amendment. That's right.
All right, I would like to move the amendment, please.
Okay, so I got a motion on the amendment, properly seconded. Explanation on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is a regulatory specific plan for some parcels on Woodland Street. I had announced this idea from the person who purchased it back in January. We have had some early challenges with having meetings due to COVID, but we did have community meetings about it. I was able to meet with the historic Edgefield as well as the East End neighborhood groups on it. It did have 2 public hearings. As promised to constituents, the regulatory specific plan does eliminate or exclude short-term rentals. I had a second sort of series of community conversations with neighbors, and we further revised the land uses that are allowed under the kind of base zoning of MULA. So we further refined those land uses. This does provide a 15-foot step back for the 4th floor. That was important to neighbors. The project is fully parked, meets a lot of community feedback. So just appreciate all the time that everyone, in particular the applicant, has worked with me on to have a lot of communications to get this zoning right. And then after this legislation, the project would go before the MDHA East Bank Redevelopment District Design Review Committee. So that will be the next phase of vetting this project. But with all that, I renew my motion to approve.
All right. So Councilmember Withers has moved his approval to, has moved on 2021-773 as amended. We've got the amendment on. Is that your amendment? Or are we back on the bill?
I can't remember why.
Okay, let's make sure we get the amendment on. Okay, so I think you moved the amendment, properly seconded. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Now you're on your bill as amended.
Renew my motion to approve.
Okay, we're on 2021-773 as amended. The motion is to approve as amended on 3rd reading. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. 2021-773 as amended passes on 3rd reading. BL 2021-777 by Councilmember Roberts. Ordinance to amend Title 17 Metropolitan Codes by changing from SP to R8 zoning for properties located at 6015, 6017 O'Brien Avenue, approximately 170 feet east of Eastboro Drive, .78 acres. Councilmember Roberts, you recognized.
I believe this was deferred by rule.
It was deferred by rule. Okay, so it's deferred by rule, one meeting. Item number 73, BL 2021-780 by Councilmember Welsh. Ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws by changing from RS10 to SP zoning for property located at 2512 Rasco Street, approximately 260 feet south of J Street, 0.28 acres. This is a disapproved bill. Councilmember Welsh, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I would like to move my amendment and then defer third for one meeting.
Okay, let me get a committee report
Committee
first.
reports, please.
Councilmember Murphy, you're recognized.
Thank you. The amendment was 14 in favor, 0 against. The vote on the bill was 9 in favor, 4 against, 1 abstention.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Murphy. Okay, back to you, Councilmember Welsh.
I would like to move my amendment.
Okay, Councilmember Welsh moves her amendment, properly seconded. Explanation on the amendment?
This amendment, because there was concerns about uses of the property, this amendment prohibits STRs in both the main property and the proposed DADU.
Okay, so you've heard the amendment. Any questions about the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment, say aye. Opposed, no. Your amendment passes. You're now on your bill as amended.
I would like to defer one meeting.
Okay, so the motion is to defer 2021-780 as amended, one meeting. Properly seconded. Any discussion? Councilmember Cash, you're recognized.
Thank you. I support the deferral, and I hope, I look at this, I don't want to get too deeply into the bill, but I hope something can be worked out, because I have questions that I'd like answered, I guess. Like when Councilmember Welsh talks about what she and the property owner have done to make this accommodation, it sounds very positive to me, but then I hear that the tool that's going to be used is SP, and I just fear the precedent it sets. So it seems like a reasonable request. It just seems like we're using the wrong tool. So I hope in the interim maybe we can, or Councilmember Welch or others along with planning can explore the tools and see if there are any other tools that might be used other than an SP. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Cash. Councilmember Murphy?
Thank you. I just wanted to follow up that I requested, and it should be in your inbox, the slides once again from this. And I just encourage all of y'all to review those, and I look forward to discussing it further with you next time of why we should disapprove this bill.
Councilmember Sledge?
Thank you, excuse me, thank you, Vice Mayor. As we consider the deferral, I did have one question of planning regarding this, because I know as we've talked a lot, we've discussed this about in terms of a DADU. Can planning explain why a DADU overlay wouldn't be appropriate here, if you'll humor me?
Ms. Milligan, you on?
Yes, hi. So as you all know, you recently created the DADU overlay as a tool. However, it is limited to being applicable only to properties within the urban zoning overlay, and this property is not within the urban zoning overlay. Additionally, the application of a DADU overlay requires 30 contiguous lots, and so there are some locational standards and some standards for how many lots need to be included. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Nobody else in the queue? We're ready to vote. It's a motion to defer one meeting. Again, properly seconded. All those in favor of the motion to defer one meeting say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. We're on item number 75, BL 2021-783 by Councilmember Murphy, O'Connell, Cash, and Porterfield. Ordinance to amend section 13.26.020 of the Metropolitan Code to require a report from the Metropolitan Historical Commission when a public building named after a person is renamed, demolished, or sold. Councilmember Murphy, you're recognized.
Thank you. We have committee reports, but I need to suspend the rules for an amendment.
Okay, so the bill's gone through all the committees, but you need a report from Rules Committee because you're asking to suspend the rules to get an amendment on, right? Councilmember Johnson?
I did present this to Rules.
We didn't take it up. We didn't take a vote, but I don't think anyone had an objection because it wasn't on the agenda. So,
okay.
But
okay, Councilmember Murphy, if you would you you need to suspend the rules?
More than happy to explain.
Okay, would you explain the amendment?
Historic, and it brought information and a request to the administration after filing deadlines, after our last meeting, after second reading. And so it really is their request. I'm at the will of the body of whether they want to suspend the rules or not.
All right, so Councilmember Murphy has an amendment that needs to go on. It needs to go on because it's not Section 17, Title 17. So any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing none, Councilmember Murphy, rules are suspended. You're on your amendment.
All right, I'll move the amendment then.
Councilmember Murphy moves the amendment, properly seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed? Okay, amendment passes. You're on your bill as amendment. This is on third reading.
Renew my motion.
Okay, so the motion is 2021-783 as amended, passage on third reading, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion of passing 2021-783 as amended on third reading say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Is that it? I believe that's it. If you will make sure you check your packets or your email about the Community Oversight Board, don't forget that. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Proper motion, proper second. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. We are adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.